Hello. How's everybody doing out there tonight?
Hello, what is up, people?
I am currently wondering why Twitch won't let me update the title.
It probably knows what game we're playing.
Yeah, it keeps giving me error.
Usually, if this game has problems, it's on the runner's end. This is new territory. I'm not sure how to react.
Probably because the Twitch knows the game playing and saying resisting.
Well, I think this is going to be it. Are we ready to get going?
I am ready.
Okay, well, without further ado then, this is Mighty Number 9. I'm
Yeah.
MrCab.
I'm Green Z Saber. I will be commentating.
We've got Green Z Saber. He's currently the world record holder of this game. He's going to be playing at AGDQ. Don't miss that. More on that later. So this game started, yeah. So Keiichi Inafune, longtime director of the Mega Man series over at Capcom. Well, you might have noticed Capcom hasn't made a Mega Man game in a little while. He started his own company. There was a Kickstarter. I'm sure a lot of people know this history. For better or worse, this game did eventually come out. I actually really like it. I know a lot of people have had technical problems with the game, and it's really unfortunate that there's a few glitches here and there, but it's still a lot of fun. It's a good speed game. I think it's definitely worth a shot if you can play it. But without further ado, let's get going in 3, 2, 1, go.
Woo!
So the good thing about this game, everybody likes to complain about the cutscenes and the voice acting. You can skip a lot of it. So we're going to be pushing start through cutscenes. This game starts like a lot of the newer Mega Man games where you get this highway stage. Like any good speed game, we start with this little back dodge attack just to gain a few seconds.
Yeah, the swag jump. Swag shots here. He's doing some swag shots. It saves a few seconds. Not a lot, but every second helps in a run like this.
Honestly, my least favorite thing about it is when you're doing runs and you accidentally jump backwards for real. And oh, that's a reset. And now we have the dash, and you never see that again.
There is one spot where it's useful, but it doesn't save too much time.
So you might be noticing the basic mechanic of this game. You shoot enemies a few times, they change color, you dash into them, they go away. Some of them are different colors, like this red one we got just made our shot a little more powerful. There's a green one that makes you go slightly faster, and a yellow one that will increase my defense a little bit. At least that's what the manual says. I haven't actually looked into it too hard.
Yeah, it does do that, and it also reduces the recoil that you take from getting hit by an enemy. And speaking of recoil, the knockback in this game in particular is dependent on how far you're dashing when you collide with an enemy. So if you are doing a full dash and when you hit an enemy, then you will be knocked back for quite a bit and will be unable to recover for quite a while, a couple seconds.
So hopefully that doesn't happen too much.
All right, so we're coming up to the first boss here.
Mm-hmm.
Your basic warm-up boss. It's basically just a mash and dash fest.
One thing you might kind of notice too, though, if you've played Mega Man 5 at all, you know that enemies in that game have some slight iframes. Enemies in this game seem to have about the same level of iframes, so if you just purely mash, you're not going to do as much damage as you might think you're doing.
And he got a dash from the boss. That is not what we want to see. That's usually a reset right there. If we were doing a record run or a PB run.
RTA attempts would have just gotten a reset for losing 3 seconds to him crossing the room there.
And this becomes a theme throughout most of the game. Bosses are very RNG dependent. They have certain patterns that we do not want to see and will cost us a lot of time. if they choose to execute it. Alright, so here's the first stage, that regular stage that we'll be doing, Battalion.
I usually like to call out that this is also the first of the beta stages that got released. Believe it or not, there are actually a lot of bugs that got fixed in this stage. Like there's some platform jumps that were kind of weird here. Of course, you got to see some of that dash knockback there, unfortunately. So I'm invincible now. If you've played Mega Man X6, you might be familiar with, forget the name of the sword spin attack in that game, but there's a glitch where if you do it and the ground comes out from under you, the game forgets to take away your invincibility from the attack. We basically got the same thing right there by having the crate explode as we tried to backdash off of it.
And now he just lost it because he entered a screen transition room. So he will
Anytime
be
go
taking
ahead.
just like you saw there. But it's not a very common glitch that we use because there aren't a lot of stages where it saves a lot of time, but you'll see it a bit early on.
It's also that you just need a good place to actually set it up too, and there's not too many of those.
Okay, so you'll notice throughout the run that MrCab will be trying to go for the green and boost because it gives him a faster movement.
Yep. A little shortcut here, nothing major.
Alright. Very smooth landing. And here's another shortcut coming up.
Oh. A few of the Mega Man community people noticed in this. I think Barnow mostly was the one pointing it out for me. Oh, this run, please. We're about to start out actually in a boss that uses explosives. We're going to go from this guy to a construction robot. You might notice a pattern that's going to form up.
And the reason we do this boss in particular because his weapon is the best weapon in the game, and in fact it is pretty much the only weapon we'll be using throughout the run, like maybe for about 90% of the run. There are some situations where other weapons are useful, but for the most part this weapon we will get is pretty much the weapon to have.
Mm-hmm. So every boss kind of has this sort of desperation cycle here. Hang on. Just needed an audio cue. So usually after 2 or 3 of these like little absorption cycles, they'll set some sort of attack up where they become invulnerable. A few of them, if you're lucky, you can stop them from doing it, otherwise skip the cycle. Haven't seen any of that for Battalion yet, but he's down.
And most of them are invincible during it. There are some situations where we can knock them off their desperation move or just skip it entirely, but most of that is luck based, as from what we know now at least. Maybe in a month or so we'll find a way to actually skip those reliably, but for now we're chalking it up to RNG.
Yeah. Off to the stage where I call the boss Totally Not Guts Man. He's actually named Seismic. This stage actually does have some pretty egregious skips if you can get the invincibility trigger to go off. Normally spikes will still remain insta-kill with it, but there's some other insta-kill obstacles in the stage that we're just going to go right through.
It's not just spikes, it's I like to call it pink stuff. Basically anything that's pink is bad in this game. Very, very bad. You'll see it a lot. Pink stuff is bad. Bosses glow purple when they are about ready to be absorbed, and spikes are pink. There's a section coming up in the next couple stages, I believe, that's mostly pink, so you'll see when we get there.
Oh yeah. So fun fact, those 2 drills we squeezed between, you could actually squeeze between them even without this glitch. nothing over here, sadly.
And
I
that
kinda let
drill
this
is supposed to be
go
an
away.
instant kill, but with the invincibility glitch, he can just walk right through it.
You do want to get to the other side of it before Battalion shoots it out. It does become a solid wall if you're still on the other side. And then you have soft lock the stage. You can still quit out of the but
Alright, so here's Seismic. Let's see what he starts out with.
so if you can get him to do that sort of really short hop and he's underneath one of those pillars, he actually does get crushed. And the fight just ends right there. You do have to dash into him one more time, but I think with Ray, and I see a few people in chat are actually talking about the other playable character in this game, it's a little more reliable to be able to get him stuck under there. I love that the weapon for Seismic is basically a little bulldozer.
A lot of shoutouts in this game.
So this is Brandish. His stage is kind of this moving highway stage. This is probably my least favorite stage just because it ends in an auto-scroller. So if there's any donations, we'll eventually get to a point where you can read a lot of them.
Yeah, this stage it most reminds me of the train stage from Mega Man 02. It's got almost the exact same setup.
It's worth noting there are these little enemy rushes stage. I'm sure you've all noticed it by now, but you do have to kill them all. No way to skip those yet that we know of.
Yeah, for this instance, you could just let the signs pass through, but it's better to kill them just so they're not in your way. You actually don't lose time for killing them, for not killing them in this instance.
Yeah. I've been playing around with both ways, killing him, not killing him. I think there's a very slight amount of lag every time you absorb an enemy, so it might be worthwhile to just let them all go.
Yeah, there is a stage on the Mega Man X6. It's Grizzly Slash from Mega Man X5.
Slash Grizzly. Slash Grizzly is... He's in 5, you're right. It's
X5,
Slash
yeah.
that's in X4.
The one with the Guns N' Roses names. His original
Yeah,
name, I don't remember what his original name is. Crescent Grizzly?
That would make sense. Oh, that was slow.
Crescent Slash, I think when you beat him as 0.
Yeah.
Or the C Slash.
There's a 1-up in this crate. Don't need it, but we are stuck in an auto-scroller.
Yep. Very long auto-scroller. This is the part you do not want to die on, because it puts you all the way back to the beginning. And you lose well over a minute if you die at the very end.
Hey guys, sorry I'm late.
Oh, hey, Randomize also here, another runner of this game.
Yes.
We got to start this run a little early, so some schedules got thrown off.
Yeah, so I apologize about that.
Alec, if you're there, if you've got any donations, this is a great time.
Well, I can plug donations. Just a reminder, this is the Cal Fire Relief Marathon, the second one specifically. I can see Moobot just posted the schedule. I'll go ahead and get it to post the donation link as well. If you go there, you can donate directly to the Red Cross and their fire relief efforts in the California area, which has been ravaged by wildfires for several years now. These, the Red Cross's particular fund that this goes to is earmarked directly for the victims to help prevent future wildfires, fight the ones that are ongoing, and help recover from the devastation left in the wake of these fires. So it's an excellent cause. All the money goes directly to them, and, well, we're just here trying to entertain you. And again, I've said this before, If you can't donate, spread the word. Maybe you will get a hold of someone who can.
Alright, so Mr. Cab's fighting Brandish. Looks like he didn't get the Brandish skip, which is, as of now, on luck-based trick.
If you
We're
can
still
get
trying to
him,
figure out RNG or not.
if you get him another 5 times before he goes into that desperation attack, you can actually get a third absorb off on him, and that breaks him out of the entire cycle.
Yeah,
Stays
but most
about
of the time
15 seconds really.
most of the time when he's in the charging stance, he's invincible. But sometimes you can, if you hit him at just the right spot, he will not be invincible. Ooh, and there's the professor
Oh, thank
shaking
you.
his hair.
Thank you
Some
here
people-
to Randomize for the $20 donation you just dropped, saying this is for being late to my favorite game.
Not a problem. So yeah, basically before it was mentioned the bad pink stuff. This is the level where you will see the most pink stuff probably in, or the third most time you will probably see the pink stuff in this game, and it will become what could be a run killer, but we'll see that in the future.
And as I said, pink stuff is bad, very
Very
bad,
bad.
very, very bad. Most of your deaths will come from pink stuff if you do die. For most high-level runners of this game, it's always the pink stuff.
So we're coming up to our first little mini fight.
The enemy rushes.
The enemy
There's
rush.
2 of them in this stage.
Yep. Plain and simple, just kill them and get rid of them. Just like every other one.
There is some strategy you could use there, like detonating a bomb. When to detonate a bomb, because you can hit the little bugs just as they're falling. Okay, getting a green boost there, that's good. You get extra speed from that, and
So welcome to giant pink turbines.
So once we're done, pink stuff, really bad. And this is the best place to ruin a run.
This
And,
was
coming up
the 3rd demo stage, and I know like a lot of people had some feedback about how this little piece of design. There was no indication at first that if you hold down, the dash will actually go a little lower, so you can get under things like these 2 turbines. This is a
Coming
little
up here.
serious.
it's right here after the 1-up.
Whew, we're through.
And you have to get extremely close.
The
to
run
do
lives!
that.
I
it's
use the
tiny
little
bit.
cannon on Beck's head as a visual cue.
Yeah, same here actually. It's a perfect visual cue.
Okay, here's another enemy rush room for the boss.
And pause strats, not really. Kappa.
Yep. Hitting start too hard is to skip a cutscene that you can't skip.
It becomes a huge force of habit in this game.
So
Alright.
let's use.
Here's Dinah. Not much to her, just get up close and swing the sword.
Dinah can have like a really bad RNG where she just decides to stay up really high in the room. And since her weakness is the sword, it's very hard for Beck to get up there. So we
Got the
just
good
pray
second
for. Oh, that was nice. Very nice.
Very nice
Nice.
pattern from Dinah
Perfect patterns. Very nice.
Yeah, if she decides to float up at the top of the screen, there's really not a lot you can do. You can kind of hit her a couple of times in a jump with the sword spin, but it's really slow.
She did that to me in my PB, and I lost about 6 seconds because of it. Boss RNG, definitely the places where you will lose a lot of time when you're running this game.
So speaking of skips that save a lot of time, I do want to talk about Shade's stage here a little bit. This one did also get a lot of complaints because I feel like it's just not a hold right stage. I actually kind of like the effort here. The biggest sin this stage commits, though, is there's no real midway point. So if I die, it's
Die
all the way-
randomly.
It's basically a hide and seek game where you have to find Shade in this circular room. So if you keep going right, you will end up in the same room from where you started.
Yep.
Normally, the
We're gonna
goal of
turn
this
around
game is
immediately.
find Shade the boss of this stage and damage him enough times so that he'll move you to the actual boss fight. So normally you'll have to find him 4 times, but using this skip here, Mr. Cab will only have to find him 3 times.
Well, we're hoping. Usually
yeah.
it's at the worst possible moment the game decides to just kind of say, no, you didn't do it exactly right. If you're familiar with the Super Metroid Fantoon fight, where you kind of do specific amounts of damage each cycle to save another cycle at the very end, it's kind of similar to that.
It looks good, though. It does look promising.
Using the dozer to cross this room. If
It's a
he
little
gets
faster
hit
to
by
not use it, but it's a little safer to use it.
If he gets hit by the pink field that those UFOs generate, his controls will be reversed, but we won't be
There we
seeing
go. Very nicely done.
throughout this run.
So
And
if we
the-
didn't get this, you actually want to go back to the left. If you keep going right, which is where the game kind of suggests you go with the laser coming out, you have to go through the enemy rush room of this stage, and you lose about another 30 seconds over the minute you've already lost by not getting the skip.
A great hint for beginner runners is that if you're going right, the laser's straight, and if you're going left, the laser bounces up and down through the course of the level. In case you can't tell which way the laser's coming from.
Oh, missed a shade.
Yeah.
Gap
So
there.
basically with Shade, if you hit him with electricity before he won't teleport, he'll jump around. So it's a little tricky. It's a small little window of frame that allows you to hit him again before he disappears. So our trick is to try to hit him before he goes away, because it actually takes longer time for him to get a new spot than him just jumping around.
As long as you're linked to someone through the electricity, you can actually dash at any point to get the absorb off.
Alright, so
So-
that's shade.
Shade is down. We get Avi next. I still think he's the best of the Mighty Numbers as far as personality goes.
Oh, phenomenal. It's perfect.
He's not the best boss, though. He's by
Oh.
far the worst boss to fight, just because he has a bomb drop move that wastes about 3 seconds each time he does it, and he's almost guaranteed to use it at least once. Almost guaranteed. Very rare that he will not use it at all.
Shout out
Actually,
to
more
Gumbertall for making me play this game in English just to listen to Avi.
I'm more concerned about ammo usage for Avi. The weakness we just
Oh.
got from Shade, you only have 3 shots of before you have to wait for it to kind of recharge, so very easy to run out of ammo in the fight.
Have you guys talked about the accidental memory droppage that can make you double shoot?
Not really. It hasn't happened too much yet, fortunately.
Thank God. For anyone that's wondering what I'm talking about, basically this game has a weird thing where it has like memory loss, memory drops, and it will dump all this memory into the RAM, making the
I
game a
don't
little
think that's the
unbearable.
thing, but it does have a weird thing where sometimes the game will like fire a weapon twice when you mean to fire it once.
Right.
So sometimes it can be useful, like you can get double hits on a boss if you use the right weapon, but most of the time it's just gonna waste ammo, and you'll end up hitting the boss during its iframes and just wasting it.
Not only that, but like it tends to throw off the timing of these grenades, because you hit it once to fire a grenade, then you hit attack a second time to detonate. So you can imagine what starts happening when your grenade is no longer there where you want it to be. It's no longer flying across the screen. It just throws off the tempo a lot.
Yeah. And you'll see later on in the run, there will be a moment where we really don't want that to happen at all. But that's way later in the run.
Honestly, there's all the moments in the run where I don't want that
Right.
to happen.
Right, but there's one that's definitely like, please don't do it at all. If you want to choose any time, don't do it now.
Shouts and do it. The nice thing about the shade shot is it is like it's like what the Gemini laser really should have been.
Yeah, it's not as memorable though. because we don't really use it that much during this run.
Not only that, it actually seeks out rather than just kind of bouncing around.
Right.
It's a cool weapon, though. I'll give it that.
It's really cool.
Not cool enough that we religiously use it, though.
Yeah, probably in the
More
field, you'll
it's
probably
really-
see it like 3 times used.
So if you've been noticing the wind in the rest of the stage, you might have caught that every time we're dashing into the wind, we get affected a lot more by it. This time the wind's blowing up. It's still faster to jump if you can find a platform to jump from. Just sometimes you want to just dash against the side of the screen and let the wind carry you up, though.
Yeah, wind physics. Alright, here's Avi. Let's see if he's nice, Mr. Cab tonight.
He's not.
Ooh.
Bombs right away.
Starts
Oh, man, right away.
right away. Ooh, that's not good.
Yeah, I usually do like to wait a little bit before I fire that third shot, just to give it a little extra time to recharge, so that when he does these attacks immediately afterwards, I have the ammo to actually hit him. Usually that's when I'm okay with the bomb showing up, when I'm waiting for ammo to come back anyway. But if he shows up before you get any shots off, that's just the worst.
Hang
Actually, I
on,
have a
boss
pretty-
attacks back. Correction, twice.
Technical difficulties. He's very sarcastic with the things he says, and it's very funny.
It's Beckles. I still think he's going for like some kind of Hollywood thing. Like, you get old movies and people talking about that. Apparently that was a gold split. I'm not sure I believe you, Live Split, but okay.
That looks like a pretty good time, under 3 minutes 30 seconds. Most people usually end up in the 3:30 plus range for that stage.
So Pyro stage has a lot of oil slicks and a lot of fire. It's like Flameman stage. The good news is the flames are not insta-kill, and remember that invincibility glitch that we haven't used in a little while now.
It is instant kill on a certain mode, though. We can talk about that later on.
Yeah, the hardest difficulty of this game, or at least I'll call it that for now, the Maniac difficulty, is a one-hit kill mode. If you want to see that, I suggest you go to Games Done Quick this January. Or otherwise go to Green Z Saber's stream directly.
Shoutouts to Green.
That's my donation incentive. That's the run I do want to do. So please make it happen.
So, the nice thing about this enemy rush, the grenades are just too strong. You can kind of blow up half the enemies.
Yeah, that's the thing about the grenades, why it's so useful, because you don't really have to aim, you just shoot and detonate and it'll just destroy everything. Okay, Cab, switch weapons, which is...
Oh, I didn't have it in the first place.
He missed it. So, the way you can tell if you miss the glitch is if Ek actually completely jumps back. Usually
Well,
you
not
won't have
only
to
that,
turn
like, I actually
around.
got hit
Like
by
you got
enemies,
it.
too.
So he's gonna start going through enemies again.
It's really useful here because those pillars, if they hit you, are instant. And here, you could go YOLO strats, but then what happens more often than not is you get knocked out of a dash by one of those fireballs. There are some strats to try and mitigate those if you are still vulnerable to them, but the surefire way is to just use the glitch. So there's actually a glitch going on here, even if it's not a very obvious one.
A feature,
Obvious
probably.
weapon.
Most likely.
Obvious weapon, you're supposed to only have one on the screen. But if you switch weapons and switch back, it kind of forgets that there's one already there. And the trigger for allowing you to shoot a second one is to catch one. So as long as you don't catch both propeller blades, you can just keep juggling them and have two out. You can kill Pyro a lot faster that way.
Alright, good pyro fight.
That was a very good pyro fight. Impeccable
taste. if you actually want to get into puns, we're in the right stage now with Cryo. In fact, if you've been paying attention to the dialogue, you'll see
A lot.
every now and again one of the robots will say, I gotta remember to tell Cryo that later. So, reminder that you have a down dash because falling in water is really annoying, really slow. And we're just gonna dash right over this.
There are a lot of enemies
Shoutouts
under
to
the-
infinite air dashes. This was also a beta stage. I did put in the feedback. By the way, I'm just gonna skip this entire section. You might want to fix that, but here we are.
I've only been down there once or twice throughout all the time I've been playing this game.
Yeah, I think I've mostly gone down there to see what's down there.
Pretty much. If anyone's wondering why he didn't do the down dash there, you cannot cancel yourself out of a down dash until you touch ground. So that's why Cab did not down dash at one point. Just more for not being able to get out of it.
Wow, we actually got that.
Very nice.
I very rarely actually get that grenade fired in time. So
You have to fire.
I guess we're gonna call these guys the Pong bots.
Yeah. The bomb weapon just savages them. Completely destroys them in a few seconds.
Get a little bit of a ledge jump
Especially
there.
if you have the red power up.
Oh yeah. My only regret about that section is that it is so much faster to do with, and it's useful because you do get a red power up out of it. That's like a section where it would be nice to almost have Avi's weapon available to just kind of air dash over everything, but it's room.
Ugh, this is always a pain in the butt spot.
Yeah. That last room is actually really annoying. I'm gonna try just to see. It's not gonna matter too much. We go up to the full charge. Pyro's weapon's actually pretty awful, but you can charge it before you go in here. Let's see.
Going for the cryo skip.
Going for something.
Alright, you might get it.
No.
No, you have to.
Allow her to fall down to get stunned.
Right as she forms that ice pillar, you have to get her to glow and break it before she lands on it. That's how you get it.
Otherwise, that was actually a pretty good fight in general.
Yeah, a pretty
that
clean
fight
fight.
is-
As long
that's
as you
one
don't
of the-
get frozen and don't miss a lot of shots, that's a pretty good fight.
That fight was in the beta, and in the beta you did not have any weapons, so it was a buster fight. And it is a huge pain if you can do nothing about the ice. So this next stage, we're going to go to the prison stage. We have a choice of two more kind of final stages, and this is the one where this is the call stage. This stage has actually grown on me a lot over time, but the biggest issue with it, you have a whole new character all of a sudden at the very end of the game. Whole new set of controls and ways of defeating enemies, and it takes a little bit to get used to the first time through the game.
But hey,
Basically-
she's at your beck and call now.
Pretty much,
Whoa.
yeah.
Actually,
The-
the achievement clearing the stage is roll call. So,
The thing about Call is that she has a shield, and she cannot dash into enemies to absorb them. So you would actually have to sit there and completely destroy the enemies, and you'll see that coming up very shortly.
And
yeah,
she
they put
can
an enemy
only
rush
have
in this.
she can only have one shot on the screen at a time.
Unlike back with 3.
Get really close to enemies to actually deal some actual damage to them. And there's only a limited amount of enemies that you actually damage directly. Most of the time, you just stun them. Okay, so here's a only enemy rush room in this stage. So as you can see, Call is not really doing much to those enemies. You just have to wait them out. These enemies you can kill, however.
So just like Beck, it takes 2 shots to actually stun those enemies, but you can't actually absorb them, so you're stuck kind of just shooting them for a long time. These big guys look scary, but they're pretty easy.
On
The
the
hardest
harder
part is actually mashing on an Xbox One controller.
Yeah, on the harder difficulties, the how far they throw their blade depends on the close you are to them. So they'll throw it a lot closer, which
Get
makes
some
it
marathon help.
Actually, I never knew there was a health in that box. Never
I
actually.
stopped getting it because I just don't take too much damage from the boss itself.
Right. So this
The
is one of
white
the.
line in the back of the wall there is actually a great
the
visual cue.
spike drop, really good.
It's very nervous seeing Spike drop because there's like the little corner that you saw him float right before he went through. It's very small,
That
and if
is
you try to
still-
rush through it, it's dangerous.
That is still one of the most nerve-wracking moments of a run for me. That drop.
Any
So,
Spike drop.
this is a boss fight that takes longer than the rest of the stage to clear. So if you've got some donations, this is a great time.
Yeah, this is the most unique boss in this game. I'll say that much.
It looks like there's some RNG here for what comes in the box, but it's actually a lot less than you'd think. It's either going to be a bomb or one of those little droids, and of the first 4 crates you get, you will always get 2 bombs and 2 droids. So we should be getting 2 droids next pretty much no matter what. The main thing we want to do is make sure we don't spawn them directly in front of him, because then, well, there's another glitch in the game, and he'll just walk right over them without actually eating them, so we can no longer damage him, and we just lose an entire cycle of time.
Yeah, there is a little trick you could do to save some time, but it's mostly RNG based, and the 5th crate, you want the 5th crate to be a bomb. I mean, so if you don't get a bomb, you will waste a lot of time if you don't get it. So
Yep.
I don't think MrCab is gonna go for it.
Oh, definitely not.
I did get it by accident in my PB though, so you
Oh.
can sometimes get it by accident if the crate decides to land too close to the drop too close to the dog.
Right after this eye, this is where we cross fingers for a good RNG.
Can we get a bomb on the 5th cycle?
Thankfully, if you don't get a bomb, you don't waste too much time. You just have to shoot off the eye camera.
Some YOLO strat barrier strats. Ah, man, we got a turret. So you'll see he has to go through the animation one more time instead of just dying right away from the bomb.
Now, I want everybody to keep their eyes on Doc Sanda there in the background. He's got a great little pose here. Yeah!
Mission clear.
I just realized you're typing this entire time.
Not the whole time.
I just meant like at all.
I mean, it's right next to me.
True.
Hi, chat. So this is kind of the only stage in the game that really makes you use most of your arsenal.
In fact, there's even an accomplishment for using all the weapons this stage.
I don't think I've ever gotten through that room without getting hit before.
That was
You're
beautiful.
gonna see that
Phil.
in
That's
Marathon.
very smooth.
That was very smooth.
So this room you must use obvious weapons to gain height.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
There's a deadlier
Oh!
drop coming up here. See if Cab goes for the quicker route.
Not the
Ooh,
quickest of it, but a little
Nice.
quick.
All right. All
Very
right.
nice.
We'll take it.
Still pretty good. Ideally, you
Can't
don't want to use the propeller at all, but that's good enough. You don't lose too much time for doing that.
This room, you kind of want to wait to get that red power up. You can stun him a second time, but if you don't get the absorb off, bosses will heal. I don't think we actually even talked about that. If you don't get an absorb right away on them.
Yeah,
So you
they'll
don't
heal
want
up all the damage you've done if you let them live. If you don't absorb them quick enough. Thankfully, Cab got the 2 cycle on that button.
Shouts to the boss of the first stage. Oh, we got the good pattern. He can do all sorts of things here, and this is the best for just remaining vulnerable.
He was about to latch on the ceiling, but thankfully he did that really late, so we never get to see it.
So you didn't really get to see it, but all those switches I was hitting in here turn off death lasers that are stretched across the entire passageway.
All right, there's
a few ways to get through them. This I like to just call the busy room, and you'll find out why. Plot-wise, this room is actually pretty cool because all the mighty robots are actually here right now, helping you fight. But
squad goals.
look at all of these shots on the screen. There's nothing going on.
And
This was the
enemies
first time
you have to
the
hit
game
are
actually crashed on me too.
small,
Oh jeez.
so it's hard to see what's going on at times.
Oh,
But
yeah.
thankfully, you do get a lot of blue enemies, so you will get an E tank.
Mm-hmm.
So to speak.
I don't think we've ever talked about this, but or mentioned it. But you get an E tank if you absorb 10 blue enemies. So I think there's about 30 of those in just that room alone. So you definitely have enough for like 3 refills if you somehow need it.
I did really poorly in that room just because I got a little afraid of the spikes.
And you can also hold up to
That's all that matters. No deaths so far. That's always a good thing.
knock on wood.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 dash.
Yeah, he's fighting the evil button. I have no idea why a button is a boss, but hey. And yeah, I got the
It's
quick
pretty
kill.
tight.
You
It's
really
pretty
want
tight timing to get that quick kill. And once you get used to it, though, you can do it pretty fast. If you don't do it, the desperation attack from the tank part of it, it's not too hard to dodge with Avi's weapon. Just hold it over your head like an umbrella. But it
But
takes
it's long.
about a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Chilling
definitely
with
not an attack you want to see.
um,
But you do want to see that attack if you're going for fine play bonus, which unlocks like certain achievements. There is a fine play bonus that involves that attack.
Oh yeah.
You have to
There are little bonuses, and I'm sure lots of people who originally heard all the bad things about this game might have noticed by now that you're not seeing the phrase "Sprinter, well done," and all those other things appear on the screen. It is possible to actually turn those notifications off. Normally, I actually turn off the voice acting and the subtitles as well, but just for you guys, we get to listen to them today. So this stage actually opens with an enemy rush section.
This is the second to the last one we'll be seeing for this run.
Really, it's the last one, I think, except for the boss itself.
The elevator part.
I guess so.
Close. You do get a nice clear bonus if you clear all the enemies out in that section.
Wow.
Right, so coming up, we'll be seeing the main obstacle of this level, the purple cell blocks. So they're basically like regenerating cells that you have to damage, and if you damage them enough, they will turn into blocks, solid blocks you can actually stand on, not get hurt by them. And if you damage the blocks enough times,
that happened there, and that just threw everything off.
yeah, if you damage the blocks enough times, they will be destroyed, and if you move away from where they were, they will regenerate as cells.
Yeah. I think that's something the first time a lot of people play this game, it takes a little while to figure out that's how these blocks work. The most aggravating part of this stage, really.
Alright, this room is one of the most... it's a puzzle.
This room gets a lot of people the first time too. You have to watch the bottom right side of the screen and you'll see some passages eventually. Of course, the rest of the way through the stage is to go that way.
Yeah, my first time through this part, I did not realize that there was a... I thought you had to go... I did not realize there was actually a passageway at that particular stopping point. I thought it was the one under it was where you had to go. But turns out there's actually two passages, so you can slide under.
You can kind of see them in one moment now.
First one.
So Cab gets the invincibility glitch. The last time we'll be seeing it. It's kind of useful for a part that's coming up here.
Not really required here, kind of like in Brandish's stage, it's just a nice to have. Shouts to Morton's Castle and the SMW crew.
So Cab took a little safe strat by taking out the walls. You can actually dash right under the wall. It's very dangerous too, but it is possible.
It's actually more dangerous for me to do that because of on the version I run, it generates a lot of lag.
Let's cross our fingers for Easy Devil.
All right, let's do this.
He's going to attempt a one-cycle devil.
It's the hardest.
I'm not sure if I'm getting it.
The hardest trick in this run.
Sometimes she just doesn't like your hit points, even if you're
close. Yeah, this is a run killer for most people. For most runs aiming to get a good time, it is the one hardest trick in that is not RNG based.
It's extremely small window tricks. You have to really watch what you're doing the entire time in the middle of a giant explosion while you're at it. So we're at the final form.
The final form, an evil flower, a pink evil flower. Remember when I said pink was bad? So
It's an
turns out the final boss is all pink. And
you want to get some extra damage in here, but you don't want to get a third absorb off at all, because then she'll go into a desperation attack, which again is a minute. Which means I really need to get the kill off now. The trick with this boss is it will always finish whatever attack pattern it's in. So that's going to be that. Time's coming up as soon as I grab this orb. Shoutouts again to the SMW crew with that statement. Time.
All right, great run, Deathless.
Yeah, 46-10.
Nice. According to Live Split on my side, I'm a minute 18 over PB for RTA at least. This game does use in-game time, just because the load times across consoles are really disparate. In fact, don't play this game on Wii U if you can avoid it.
Even on
one note about the title screen time we're going to see in a second. That 0.89 at the end of the time right now and across all of the stages, that's dropped from whatever you see on the title screen. So when we're calculating PBs, it's go through the whole run, find all those fractional seconds and add them up.
Yeah, even on PCs, the load times are different. That's why we use in-game time.
It's kind of annoying that they make you do that. The credits take forever. Fortunately, we can skip them. We've actually been kind of joking about the idea of seeing how many runs can finish while the credits play, just like keep it up in the corner.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that would make a good donation incentive or not, but
I don't think it's a truly marathon viable thing, but it's a funny thought all the same. 34:16 on the title screen. It's okay.
Not bad.
It's a little high, but we'll take it for a marathon.
Hey, man,
so that's Mighty Number 9, everybody.
Thanks for the run. Thanks for the commentary as well. We're going to go to another commercial, and then we will be back with Freedom Planet by Johann Howitzer.
Awesome. Thanks for having us. Awesome.
So, yeah. Thanks, everybody.
Good night, folks.
Have a good
And
night.
I'm going to bed right now because I have to work
Yeah,
in
it's 3 a.m. on the
about
East Coast. I'll see you here.
in
Yep.
about 6 hours.